Greetings, humans! Greetings, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode. Bear here, 29-year veteran. Enemy of the woods, people. That's where bears live. 7 out of 8 TikTok women agree. Rather see a bear in the woods than a man in the woods. YouTube's #1 review show, Buy a Bear, Yo Soy Bear. Great to be here with you good folks out here. Holy moly cow. Oh, jeez. People, it is hot out there. I don't know if you people know, but it is quite possibly summer. Bears have a hard concept of time. But I'm pretty sure after a number of moons pass, it gets hot. It gets really freaking hot out there. So bear took a little swim in the old river. Tried to cool off just a little bit. Scared away the kayakers, but that's alright. So I hope all of you are out there nice and cool. You're in a cool spot, in a safe spot, just hanging out with old Bear here. Yes, indeed. Well, we've got a very interesting story? A very interesting show here today for you good people. A couple of stories. We actually are going to be pitting head-to-head in a battle royale, as you see it right here. Let me get rid of that, because we've got in a battle royale, that would be if Bear could freaking find it here for once in his freaking miserable life. That would be Inglorious Rex. We're going to be putting that up against Godlike, people. Yes, indeed. We're going to find out which one of these books comes out on top. So we've got a poll up there. Let's actually check out the poll real quick. There is. No, I just want to see the poll. 100% have no opinion or didn't read. So, well, this will be a fun show. This will be a very fun show. Only one vote, so hopefully we'll get a couple more people in here. We'll get selected on that very shortly here for you good people. But first, as we always do, people, we try to do a couple of old campaign updates here for you good people. Including from Uncle E out here, still holding strong. That's got to be, what, about 2 weeks? Maybe 2.5 weeks away. He started it, I think, on July 4th. So about 2.5 weeks away will be the 1 year mark. $626,000. Congratulations, sir. Hopefully, I hope to see maybe another cover pop up. I remember he was talking about doing another cover or two, so probably a good time to be doing some of that. But we're not here. Gosh dang it, we're not here for Cyberfrog. We're actually here for that would be Shane Davis here. He's got a update for his other comic. It's called Axcend. Axcend, pardon me. Level Up closes next week, people. So we've got a busy week or two coming up here as far as books. Hello, Nine Lives Comics supporters. Well, hello. Yanzi Lin, saver of Bear's camera. Axcend Level Up Volume 1. Level Up Volume 1. That's kind of a little bit of a tongue twister. Level Up Volume 1 is headed to the letters and pre-press soon. We'll be shutting down the campaign next week if you have yet to back the book. And why? Why have you yet to back it, people? How dare you? This is your last chance to do so. And maybe you might want to go get it after Bear's review tonight, or you might say, gosh, no way, that Inglorious Rex book, that's terrible. Awful book. So we shall see. We shall see here. Please update your address on Indiegogo if necessary and email us. Any changes? NightLifeComics.com. It's down there in the description. Go check it out, people. They've got, if you're new to the awesome world of indie comics, #1, what took you so long? #2, you can back the catch-up pack that includes all of his previous books, Inglorious Rex 1, Inglorious Rex #2. We're going to be talking about tonight. Starlight Cats #1. I have no idea what that was about. Apparently, cats in space. Something along those lines. Not really sure. There you go. So go check it out. Nine Lives Comics down there in the description. He's got his next book, people. Holy cow, he is just all over it here, people. If you've not signed up for the pre-launch notification for Inglorious Rex 3, numero 3, we're going to find out on number 2 tonight. Be sure to sign up at either links below to get your access to the secret tiers with discounts. And of course, a special pre-launch. So do go check that out, people. You get a lenticular card. Still need to figure out what to do with all the trading cards. I have nobody to trade it to. I've got like 5, 6 different Sawyers from this Godlike campaign from Jon Malin. So we'll find out. Uh-oh. Is my thing going kaput? 1 second here, people. Let me find my stream health. My stream is healthy. But yet I've got the rotating thing of doom here. So we'll see. We'll see, people. If Bear is timing out, let him know in the old chat-o here, people. In the old chat-o. But we have, once again, people, a battle royale here. I need to get a moment to get set up, but we're going to be putting head-to-head, rather. That would be Inglorious Rex #2 and Godlike. People. So we're going to go get into that uno momento. Hold on 1 second. Give Bear 1 moment to get all the lights and everything set up here for you good people, and then we'll get into it. So, why don't you talk? Why don't you all talk amongst yourselves, people? Talk amongst yourselves. Bear will be right back. Uno momento. Por favor. Go ahead and vote while you're at it. Thing with the old thing here, Bear. Alright. Where are we? Test. There we go. It works. It works, people. You know, sometimes Bear just doesn't work for old Bear. Hey, Lindy. Good to have you here. Just lurking and listening to Bear's... That would be helpful. Bear's review here. Alright. Get right on into it. Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to vote. Actually, somebody did vote. Hold on. Let's check it out, people. We've got Godlike should win over Inglorious Rex. Well. Oh boy, oh boy. Alright, well, we shall find... Actually, which one should we get started with first here, people? Do we have a preference? Inglorious Rex? Godlike? Sorry if I'm way away. My thing is over here. Oh, you can't even see it. For crying out loud. That would be helpful here. That would be very helpful if I did the thing. The old thing here. There's that. The thing. There we are, people. Yes, indeed. And well, pow, there too. Look at there. Ha! I've got 2. Got 2 cameras going here, people. Got 2 of them going for you good people. Hey, P-Money. Let's see. I'm here, and I'm, what's a good word with rhymes with here? Oh, drinking beer. Hey. Hey. Alright, let me, where am I? What am I doing? Come on, beer. Okay. Yeah, I'll be able to see the chats here. So, okay, there we go. Good. Good. All right, there's that. Does anybody have a preference on which one we should get started with here first? Anybody have Godlike, Inglorious Rex, only the other. Oh, I should probably record. That'd be helpful. Here we go. Let's see. Ruth says hi, Bear. She's munching on corn on the cob. A summer delight. Good deal. Good deal. Say hello to Mrs. Peabody out there. We're doing a book review. Well, actually, 2 of them. All right. Since it's way over there, I'm gonna go with Inglorious. Why is my microphone not working that great? Hold on. 1 second, people. Gotta make it professional. All right. Thing with the thing, let's see, make it down to 1, up. There we go, finally. It's hard out here for me. It's hard out here. Alright, the chat is way over this way, so I'm going to be going back and forth. I will try to get your chats here, but it might be every once in a while. You know, I gotta turn back this away. Which, by the way, I was looking at this earlier. Apparently there is, if you do this, it does a thumbs up. No? Let's try the other one. No? Alright. Whatever, people. I'm trying to bring you some classy stuff here, and it's not even working. Alright. Inglorious Rex. Alright, Shane Davis. It is book number 2 for him, for Inglorious Rex. We did a review of Inglorious Rex number 1. Gosh, did I put it head to head with another book? If Bear did, he'll leave it up in the old thingamabobber up there. Let's see. We did number 1, but I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of quickly review the Inglorious Rex whole saga here. Inglorious Rex started, it is essentially monsters fighting each other as a sort of sport, kickboxing, boxing, whichever boxing you like, that sort of MMA, I guess, sort of style of fighting within monsters. So you have your monsters that are fighting each other, but they're actually controlled by humans out here. So actually, I've got some. Let me bring that up. Pretty good people. I don't have a whole lot. Sorry if you can't hear me. I don't have a whole lot of media from this. I don't have a whole lot of pages, so I might need to show some of the pages here. But just generally, Inglorious Rex, monsters fighting monsters. They have sort of humans controlling them. So the little guys, little tiny humans controlling kind of giant monsters out there. They're fighting each other. You have your main character, Alex Stone. His brother is killed, so he dies in the ring with the Rex monster that you see there on the Dale Keown cover. I don't know why it's covered up. It's not like she's showing anything there, but anyways. So they bring his brother in because apparently they're the monster and the human controller, I guess you could call it. They're genetically linked, and we find out a little bit more in this next book here about that. But they're genetically linked, so the monster being worth a whole lot of money, they need to find somebody really quick, get back in the ring and fight. Well, luckily enough, Alex Stone, his brother, unfortunately passed, but he is of the right genetic material to be able to fit right in and start fighting with what they call 232. That's the name of the giant monster there that he's controlling. So, first book, all about kind of like, I don't know, essentially Rocky, but with monsters. They're going in, they're fighting each other, yada, yada, yada. We find out at the very end of the book why there's monsters and why they're fighting. Apparently, the city that they were in, and it's a little confusing with this book whether or not the citizens knew or don't know. Apparently they do know, but from the book they didn't know that Essentially, they were in a giant dome, a giant city underneath a dome, and on the outside is, a wasteland. It's a huge wasteland where all the, I guess, bad monsters are out there kind of roaming the earth. I don't know if they're monsters or if they're aliens. Alien monsters, it doesn't really matter. They're bad dudes, people. Bad dudes. So, at the end of the first book, we kind of pull out, we see kind of the shocking revelation that, no, it's not just a futuristic city. It's kind of the futuristic city on the edge of the wasteland, the last, I suppose, city left. And apparently the monsters that are fighting each other in Inglorious Rex are the only hope humanity has to fight off the, I don't know, what would you call them? The evil monsters, the evil alien monsters out there. Bad dudes, we'll just call them. We gotta fight all the bad dudes out there. So that's the end of the book. We kind of have... I like the first book because it not only showed a lot of scale with like the monsters and the humans and that sort of deal. That was pretty cool. It also had a nice little story there with him, his deceased brother. When they kind of combined, human and monster together, I suppose some of their essence or some of their life force or some of their memories transferred across. So the whole time Alex Stone is fighting in the ring, he's hearing kind of his dead brother, kind of coming through 232. So very interesting, where it was a very big epic book, number one, but also kind of very internal struggle as well. So very interesting book number one. These are all book number two, so you're seeing all of the book covers for book number two. I really don't have a whole lot that goes with the pages here, but these are a couple of the pages here from Inglorious Rex II. Very cool. Alex and the lady love interest that he has. They end up fighting head to head here. So kind of interesting start to the book here. Let me go to a couple comments here. Bear only because you have a puck on the screen. Well, it's not on the screen right now. The Oilers were down 3-0 in the series and now have forced a Game 7. Holy cow. Holy macaroni. Doesn't quite fit with the review of comic books that we're doing here, but thank you, P-Money. I do appreciate that very much. Trying to figure out the size of these tall creatures. Calculations say 24 feet tall. I think they're a little bit taller than that. They're a little bit taller than that. But anyway, so book number two essentially starts right off where we kind of left off. Not really. I think some time has passed. I think it's been about a year that has passed between the end of the first book and the start of the second book. I did like, because Bear, it had been a while since Bear read the first Inglorious Rex. I did like, for people like, well, not people, for bears like Bear here, that might not have read the book in a while, or folks out there that haven't read the book at all and are just starting with book number two. He does a really nice kind of recap. I like the sort of beginning that he has here. Let me find it. Let me go back to it 1 second here, people. There we go. There is my hockey puck. For my Stanley Cup champion Lightning. Just couldn't do it this year. Anyhow, we've got... I like the beginning of the book because it actually starts out with, there we go. Let me see if I can put that on the other camera here. So it starts out with this sort of monster. It's funny, it's like an embryo of a monster. Kind of a monster baby, I suppose. So it kind of starts out with that. There we go. Can you see that? There we go. Kind of starts out. That's pretty funny. That might be 24 feet tall, people. I'm not sure. So they kind of have a flashback where they're talking with his brother here. There's his brother right there. Talking yada yada yada. Family stuff. Mom died. They only got dad left. They gotta fight. They gotta fight. Darn it. That's the entire book. Everything's fighting. Fighting, fighting, fighting. But it kind of goes into some other stuff here. Here's Little T. We'll talk about him in just a moment here. So it does kind of go through a number of all of what led up to what was happening in the book here. I didn't think it was necessary. They could have really started it. Let me see if I can go back here. They literally could have started it right there with Alex and I can't remember the lady's name on there, but the other love interest here. They could have just kind of started that kind of media res and did a little bit of kind of back. They have kind of an interesting thing there where they have like fight announcers, and I think it's really cool that they're allowed. They could put in a lot of exposition with some of the fight announcers, where if it was just kind of a normal story, it would be, I don't know, a narrator or maybe the character talking to himself or something like that. I thought that was really good, and they probably should have incorporated a little bit more of that into this because they could have started it out with the original fight. What ends up happening? Let me go back to it here. I can do the thing with the thing. What ends up happening? By the way, spoiler alert, people! Spoiler alert! I'm not gonna ruin the book here, but I just want to let people know. So they're getting ready to go fight and all that other good stuff. Figured out who's gonna battle royale with everything, and of course you got here we go. Here's the the announcers talking about what's going on and everything. I thought that was good exposition dump that they would have right there. If Bear can get to it, thing with the thing. Come on, Bear. Dual claws. I like this one. That shows some scale. I like that. I didn't like the 6 weeks later. He could have again just started it kind of media res with, right here where they're starting to fight. Because as soon as they start fighting, they actually end up in cutting to kind of the outside world. That's a little too far. The outside world, they have a helicopter drone of some kind, and it looks like he's got a very special package. There's a monster. It's about to attack him, so they end up going and getting into or trying to get into Ark City out there. So that's where you see old what's his name? Little T. Little T is just freaking out there. He's not doing all the doo da da, the doo da da, the da da da, the doo da da da's. He's just freaking out. So there you go. What I thought that maybe could have happened is they would have, since everything is being broken into Ark City, start fighting within Ark City. Have that as sort of the concept, because what ends up happening is, if I can show it here, they end up getting shot out of the of the battle ring into the outside world and start fighting the monsters and fighting them out there. One of the downsides to this is what he really did really good in the first book. Do you see that? There we go. Was scale. He did a really great job with scale. And now all of a sudden you've got monsters fighting monsters, giant monsters, and you're losing a little bit of the scale. So I think if you had it inside Ark City for maybe a couple pages, show the people running, oh my god, there's a monster everywhere. And of course, 232 and, gosh, I can't remember the girl's name there, but they're fighting the monsters there. And then maybe try to get them outside and start fighting out there. So, here we are. The other great thing about this book, so we talked a little bit about scale as far as, the size of the monsters and all that sort of stuff. Also story scale as well. So one of the great things about this, especially towards the end, is we have a lot of, let's see, can we see it here? Monster is damaged. Alex Stone is in the head or in the back here somewhere. They get damaged by the bad dude monsters out there, so he ends up kind of going into sort of hallucination, coma maybe, and starts to see his brother there. And the sort of whole theme throughout the book is Alex not believing in himself, not fulfilling his ultimate potential. So his brother in spirit form, I suppose, here, memory form, kind of, is trying to bring his brother out and make sure that he kind of believes in himself a little bit more, and that's kind of how the book draws to a close. We have a giant monster. Of course, we have to have a bigger monster than the monsters already. You can see 232 there and how big the other guy is there. So that very good skill, but now it looks like it's an actual person, and now you're fighting a monster instead of a monster fighting an even bigger monsters. That's what I'd say about the scale. But as far as the story scale goes, I think he did a really good job. Bringing it down to size, bringing it down to sort of the human emotional level. Monsters fighting each other, smashing into old buildings and everything. That's great and all, but we gotta have a reason to care about the characters here. Gosh dang it. One of these days, beer. I don't want to show away the ending or anything like that, but it's getting pretty close here. I did like how he did. He's doing great paneling, but then he goes out and kind of does something a little bit unique here, where it's shown like that. So very cool, very cool. I liked that. It's funny, Malin did the same thing in his book, so I don't know if they were sharing notes or what out there. So that's the end of the book. They're bringing back some of the people from the last book there to battle out here. So there we go. There you are, people. Here's another. I like all the paneling that he did. Can you see that? There we go. What are the paneling? Some of the stuff was a little bit hard to read because it goes across 2 pages. So your eye would normally just kind of follow along with the page here and then come up, like that. There was a couple times where it goes back and forth, and then it goes back to one page. So I think that was kind of towards the beginning. Yeah, here's a... Well, no, this would be a good example. It kind of looks like it's, connected together, but it actually comes down and then the next page. So a couple of these kind of went back and forth, and that's confused Bear just a little bit as far as how that was working out. But other than that, there you go. There's another good scale. Human, and then the giant monster there. So definitely taller than 28 feet, P-Money. Definitely taller. So really liked Inglorious Rex. I thought it was a very good book. 2 totally different approaches to how to do a comic book. Actually, let me get it off of that and go to get it to the other one here. There we go. 2 different approaches. 2 completely different approaches to the book. In the Inglorious Rex, it's a little bit more kind of mainstream. Let me turn this up so I'm not talking way far away. There we go. Malin's book isn't, I wouldn't call it super mainstream. It's very much of a very personal, I guess, story with Malin that he wanted to tell, and it probably didn't really matter. I'm sure he wanted it to get to a wide audience, but it wasn't a book that was essentially designed for a wider audience, where Inglorious Rex II is, or just the whole series of Inglorious Rex. So Shane Davis kind of looking a little bit more towards, kind of wider release, wider fan base, wider readership out there. Malin is a little bit kind of more, I don't know how you would describe that, but a little bit more kind of, hold on one second, people. There we go, finally. A little bit more kind of artistic, I suppose, if you want to go into kind of that route. So a little bit a difference of an approach as far as how those are going to go. But I really liked Inglorious Rex. A couple of issues on there, just minor stuff. We were talking about all the, where was he? Little T. Let me see if I can find it here. he'll show up here in just a minute. I'll see if I can find it here on the actual book. Niche market, thank you. We'll get into it. We'll get into it here with the Godlike review. But what was Bear saying? The frickin' doo da 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 da. Where is old little T at here? Let me see if I can find it on the actual book here. There we go. 1 second, people. Let me find it here. There was talk, and I know he got a lot of grief about it as far as little T and his weird dialect. Let me see if I can find that for you good people here. No, don't fall! Oh, for crying out loud. The claws. Just aren't what they used to be. For crying out loud. So, he has this kind of thing where he's kind of, I don't know, it does like 3 or 4 different dialects and accents that he has going. There's Arc City. Pretty cool. I like that double page spreaderino. Let me see if I can find it here. Getting close. Here we go. We kind of showed this once before. Let me see if I can read it that way. Let's see. One dat I promise we settle in the cage. Alex Stone versus Atomic. Anatomic. That's right, Alex. You don't dink. You pilot 232, and I do the dinking, and I dink. We need to see. Do you deserve the crown? Or did you steal the opportunity away from, what does that say? Anatomic, when you stole her fight with Gwen? Man, that, stuff like that. I think he did a really good job, more or less, with the dialogue. It just needed another pass or two over it. It just needed somebody else to kind of come out and say, hey, Shane, this is a little bit distracting here with a little T. I like the character, but it was a little bit distracting. No, don't fall, oh, for crying out loud. Anyways, there's Inglorious Rex. Still standing tall in Bear's opinion here, but not on his table. Not on his table at all. Here we go. This is the joys of doing it live, people. The joys of doing all this live. Alright, so anyways, Inglorious Rex II, I'd probably say, Inglorious Rex 1 was the better book, just because it was more self-contained. The downside, oops, let me get it off of that. Get it off of that for crying out loud. The downside to Inglorious Rex 2 was kind of built in with the surprise at Inglorious Rex 1, where they pull out and they show Arc City. Oh, wow, great. Wow, that's really impressive. The problem with it is, that's why I say you should maybe bring the monsters inside the city, not only for scale, but also because we already knew a little bit about Arc City. What happens when you put kind of a interesting twist at the end there is, you spent your entire book, if the entire Inglorious Rex series was a movie, the first book was kind of the introduction. You're getting introduced to the characters, you're finding out about the world. It can either come before or after the inciting incident, but usually there's an incident that happens. It kind of happens early on, I guess, in Inglorious Rex 1, but the main, I suppose, inciting incident would be our good monsters, I suppose, fighting the bad monsters there. So what happened is, he introduced everything into book number 1, had a surprise reveal at the end, and now you've got to get into world building again in the second book. If it was like a movie, it would be kind of, I guess, right before the end of the first act, or maybe into the second act there. If you know anything about screenwriting, it would essentially be the fun and games sort of situation there. So, uh, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, where he's just finding out that he's Spider-Man. He's kind of climbing the walls. He may fall down or do some stupid stuff. He has the stuff, the web shooting and all that sort of stuff. He's learning out about some of that stuff and going and kind of playing around and kind of having fun with all that stuff. So right before the death of Uncle Ben, that sort of section in between there of the Spider-Man film, that would be kind of your fun and games. I would like to have seen that here with Inglorious Rex. I think it needed a little bit more kind of. Um, we get to know a little bit more about Alex and his brother and his father, which was great. I think we needed to continue to learn a little bit more about, and we do a little bit about T, and also Anatomic there, and also just kind of Arc City in general. Even though that we pulled out away from it, I think there's a little bit of sort of dramatic irony in there where we, as the viewer, know what's going on the outside world, but maybe some of the Denzians in the city don't know. I think that would be a little bit more fun, and then all of a sudden you have these monsters coming in and attack. That would be kind of interesting there, plus the scale of it and everything. Bringing it out to the outside world and so quickly, um, you have to reintroduce and redo the world building. So I think he lost a little bit of momentum in the second book. It was really good, a lot of good monster fighting in there, but maybe just a knock or two below the first book, just because it was so well and self-contained in the first book, and then second book it's a little bit more expansive. You're picking up plot threads from a couple different areas there, and I think tightening it up might have worked just a little bit better in his favor. But I would say Inglorious Rex 7.5. We'll make it 8. What the heck? I'll be generous. I'll be generous. Where's my good friend? Where's my good friend Shane Davis here? My good friend Shane Davis. We'll make it an 8. Make it an 8 out of 10, people. I think 8 out of 10. It's not in Bear's like top 5 or top 10 books, but it's definitely a good book. I would recommend it. Even for maybe not very young kids, but I would say maybe 8, 9, 10, that age range. If they can handle a little bit of violence, I think it'll be okay. If there's an issue with some violence, I would maybe hold off on a little bit. But other than that, really good book. So congratulations, Shane. Congratulations, sir. Doing a good job. You saw earlier Inglorious Rex 3 going to be coming out, so we'll be on the lookout for that. And of course, what was the other? What was it? Hold on. Axcend. I'm getting them all mixed up. Axcend closing this week. So if you enjoyed Bear's review, if you haven't checked out the Inglorious Rex series, now's your chance. You got to get on it this week. Make sure you get on it and order both books. You'll probably like the first one maybe a little bit better than the second one, but second one wasn't anything to shake a stick at. It was a pretty good book as far as Bear's concerned here. Let's see. Bear says, we need a reason to care about the monsters. Bear wants to see the softer side of rampaging monsters. That's true. The announcer looks like if Don King and Emmanuel Lewis Webster had a baby. Yeah. Quite the intensive review, Bear. Fighting, and more fighting. It's true. It's true. He does say dink a lot. It went between like a Caribbean accent and like, I don't know, maybe a Southern accent, I suppose. And like I guess West Coast, maybe. It was odd. Maybe they've thrown in some English in there, like proper English. With the little pinky hanging out the tea glass there. It just needed. I like the character. It just needed another pass through or two. He was close. He was really close with the writing. I think all the artwork is great. I think he did a really great job. The scale became a little bit of an issue later in the book there, but That's only really because he did such a great job in the first book that it kind of looked a little bit less in the second book there. But other than that, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Both very good books. If you want, go check it out, people. Go check it out. Let's see. Did guys like Shane have any idea who you were? Like, did they know about your channel? No, nobody really. I mean, I told people about it, but does anybody watch Bear's channel? Not really. That's what happens when you get shadow banned. Thanks, Google. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. So, anyways, there is that. Let's check the vote. Let's check the vote count, see where we're at here. See if we've moved the needle. Which book should win? Inglorious Rex, 25%. Godlike, 25%. 50% no opinion, didn't read. Oh, well. That makes it all the more worthwhile, people. All the more worth the squeezing of the lemons here to make lemonade, people. So, thank you, Shane, for being a good sport here with Bear. Thank you, Yanzi, for saving Bear's camera. I do appreciate it. Which, by the way, I did get, out of all of that, I did get, if I can find it here. This guy, right here. There we go. Can we see that? There we are. There we go. A lot of people are probably asking, Bear, what are you doing with a t-shirt? That's a very good question. That's a very, very good question. All right, so we did Inglorious Rex. Now we're on to Godlike from Jon Malin, people. Jon Malin. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's start off with the good stuff. There is some incredible art in here. Let's get to it, people. Let's see, where are we? There we are. Some good stuff out here. Oh, once again, another book that had plenty of double-page spreads. You got plenty of great artwork out of it. If you enjoy a lot of the epic scale of things, if you enjoy, bleak landscapes out there, this is your book. Very kind of reminded Bear of kind of Lawrence of Arabia. Just kind of a lot of the widescreen shots, a lot of the huge long landscapes and everything. That would fit in right here. I don't know if that's where he got a lot of his inspiration from, but very, very epic, very dramatic with a capital D. Very. Jon Malin has his artwork down into a point, and always kind of has it as his kind of own little style. Like a lot of the long panels. If you like a lot of the long panels in your book, if you like a lot of the Jon Malin artwork out there, this would be the book for you. This would be the book for you. I like the colors. He did the colors a great job in here. He did a good job of combining a lot of the. We'll get into it in a moment here, but a lot of the fantasy elements, along with, I suppose you could call it kind of sci-fi, along with, and this is where it gets kind of a little bit off the rails here, but a lot of religious. It's supposed to be combining essentially magic, science, and religion together, all in the book, and that's where they're at. This is normally where Bear would start to tell you what the story of Godlike is all about. I think I could tell you what the story of Godlike is all about. And I hate to say this, but it doesn't really matter. The book, the story that's being told doesn't really matter. Here, let me go back to it. Let me find it. Where are we? Here we go. The guy on the cover here. The fella here. Adam Raw, um, he doesn't appear until like the last couple pages, and I'm not including the very back of the book, the encore of the book. Excuse me, the epilogue of the book. The epilogue of the book. He really doesn't appear until like the last couple, 3-4 pages. Think of this as like I don't know, Superman, and we're essentially following Clark Kent the entire book for 90. Well, not even. Uh, he doesn't even appear until like page 23 or something like. It doesn't even. The book doesn't even really start until like page 20 or 23. He doesn't appear until like 23 or 25 as like the version of Clark Kent here. So, um, uh, interesting design that he has for the character there. But well, let me just get into it. Well, Beer sounds like you're describing a blind date saying he has a nice personality. Well, she has a nice personality, but yes, thank you, Lindy. Let me give you an example of the dialogue in the entire. This is the entire book. So I just got an example here. I don't know if we can see the dialogue. Let me blow it up. I think the scan is a little low res. This is a 2-page. This is a 2-page spread here. So is the other one here. This is literally the entire book. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll call it 10, maybe 10 and a half paragraphs on one page. On well, 2 pages, but essentially 1 page describing. They're on a moon. They're on. Well, let's try to describe the story here. 10,000? No. 20? I'm not really sure. A long time in the future, between 10 and 20,000 years from now, it doesn't really make it super clear. Humanity has fought a war against an alien race, although they could also be gods, but let's just get beyond that. It's an alien race, and they've fought a galactic battle across the stars, and literally both sides have finally, came to their final conclusion, and they've ended up on 3 different moons on a planet at the far edge of the galaxy. The humans land on one moon. The aliens land on another moon. I'm not really sure, but apparently they're either God, quote unquote God, Abraham God, or gods, like, Roman or Greek gods, maybe? I don't know. And they're on a 3rd moon. And that literally starts Godlike, but then you have 22 generations after that, plus another couple 100 years. I don't know. Anyways, humanity's trying to survive. There's lots of wars. They're battling back and forth against each other. And after a long time, the aliens invade here. Let's just go with that. So the aliens that they thought they killed off come back to destroy humanity, and hijinks ensue. So there is. So the entire freaking book is. Now this is a little bit better. I like the artwork in here. I like the coloring. Looks great. But it's literally way too long. Way too long, people. 80 pages. Well, 78 pages. There's 2 blank pages in there. It's artistic, people, don't you know? So that's kind of the beginning of the story. So your main character here is Adam Raw, but he goes by a different name, and I forget his Clark Kent name, so whatever, we'll just call him Adam. It doesn't really matter. He is like the, I don't know, he is sort of the protector, he is the guardian, let me see if I can find it here, of the sword that you see there. He's protecting the sword. So the beginning of the story is essentially kind of like the Sword in the Stone, or maybe, the Gordian Knot sort of situation. We gotta find the one true fella out there that can handle the sword and use its powers and all that great stuff. You know how Bear feels about fantasy and all that sort of stuff, so I just already checked out. But he is sort of the guardian, I suppose, of the sword, which has magical powers, or godlike powers. But he never touches the sword. God forbid, never touch the friggin' sword. That's never touch another man's sword. I know that for sure. So here we go. Here's some of that. So the aliens come, and then they fight a big battle, and then it cuts to the aliens, and then the alien, on their own moon, I suppose. There you go. He's there. There they are trying to do the ceremony to get the sword, and the guy there, the naked guy, he killed his wife and family and sent like 30,000 people to their deaths, just so he could touch the sword and then get electrocuted and die. That's within 2 pages. Well, 4 pages. So that didn't make a whole lot of sense. But anyways, they're guarding it. There they go. They have the big battle. They're battling it out. And they cut to the aliens, and the aliens are talking because, that's all that happens is just blather. And anyway, so it goes on and on and on. And it goes on even more. And like by the time you're like, okay, I'm done. I just stop, please. Bear literally had to get up like halfway through, get a drink, do some beer business. I came back. I was like, okay. At first, I thought I was supposed to take this seriously. I suppose. I went into the later half of the book just as maybe this is humor. Maybe this is supposed to be funny, like mustache twirling bad guys, that sort of deal. And then it gets to the end where I'm not really sure, but 10,000 years into the future, they're still talking about 9/11, I suppose. And Jesus makes an appearance, and Muhammad, I don't know, maybe it could have been one of the 9/11 hijackers, although I looked up the name and it wasn't the 9/11 hijacker, so maybe it's just a Muhammad, just generic Muhammad fella. And then he gets all the superpowers, and then that's it. And then they go to the epilogue with the really bad guy. He's like, oh, I'm gonna get that fella. I'm gonna get that outer raw fella. And then that's the end of the book. And you read 80 pages, and you're like, what the hell did I just read? And I wish I could tell you, good people. I have a, well, bearers of several minds. What really happened with that? Wow, he really wanted that sword, yeah. Let's see. Remember, Barry started with a compliment, and if you want a compliment sandwich, you'll have to end with a compliment. That's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard. A generic Muhammad, so like Islam's John Doe. I don't know. It was an actual name. I thought because it linked to 9/11, he grabs... sorry, people. Spoiler alert. He grabs the sword. Well, here. Let me just show... once again, showing rather than telling would be the theme for Godlike, and instead, Jon decided to tell some more. And then tell some... people, I have no idea how this got past any proofreading. I literally have no idea. This was... no way. Listen, I like Jon Malin. I want to see him succeed. I really wanted the book... honestly, listen, people, I like Shane Davis, but I wanted Jon Malin to win this one. Well, anyways, so let me find the 9/11 stuff here for you, good people. If we can show that on freaking YouTube, I'm not sure. We'll show it here. Spoiler alert. Although really, it doesn't matter, and I'll tell you why here in just a moment. But let me get to it. Let me show you the page here. Oh, and the little eye thing, the symbol. That, I don't know, it doesn't really mean much. I'm not sure. Anyways, it doesn't say the Muhammad guy on that page. Let me show it. Oh yeah, and one of the characters is called Holocaust? I'm not sure about that, but okay. Alright, we'll go with it. Where was it? Here we go. Mohammed Syed al-Saud. Now, the Saud family is, you know, the king of Saudi Arabia, you know, the people, the rulers of Saudi Arabia. So, here, let me see if we can show this. 1 second here, people. Alright, so they're, oops, hold on, let me get adjusted here, people. Gosh, dang it. 1 second. Oh, it's tough out here for bear. It is literally tough for a bear to do a live review. Very good, people. What we're going to do anyways. Gosh darn it. Here we go. Alright, let's see. Can we see this? Can we see this? Okay, so there's that. There is Mohammed. Gosh darn it, you can't really see it. Mohammed Syed al-Saud. A.k.a. Holocaust, because that's what you want to name your freaking Muslim character in your book, is Holocaust. Not so sure about that one. I literally could go into whole different directions here, but here he is grabbing the sword, and for some reason there's the American flag, Jesus Christ, and 9/11. I have no idea what any of that... Well, I sort of do, I think, but it's weird. It's really weird and odd, people. So anyways, there is Godlike. It's 80 pages of great artwork with a story. I literally had to go to... You never want to do this, people, but I literally had to go to the supplemental book to figure out what the heck is going on with all of this stuff. Jiminy is lurking. Oh, goodness. Godlike is what you get when you write and smoke too much weed. I'm assuming Jiminy is not a fan. Assuming he is not a fan. Jiminy, you arrived just as Bear is about to get canceled for bringing up 9/11. I didn't bring it up at all. It's in the book. For some odd reason. Here, I think this is what Jon Malin is going for. I don't know. Well, let me just say this. I got three pieces of mind here. Number one, this is all supposed to be dramatic and serious, and it's just not written that great. Number two is that well, this is all a giant troll, and he is having a laugh at us. Haha, you bought my book, and it's completely nonsensical. You know, and making, you know, people that are trying to make sense out of the book, and, you know, he's just kind of snickering in the background. Maybe, possibly. I hope it is the third option, which is what he's trying to say is it's supposed to be sort of his take on a Saturday morning cartoon. Now, I would not recommend this at all to any kids whatsoever, unless they got, you know, a little odd there. Do not share this with kids. Please do not. So I don't know how well he did with that. This is Bear's best guess on what is going on with the book. I think what Jon Malin is trying to do is to take essentially the hero's journey, the hero's saga. So essentially, Godlike is like a futuristic Beowulf, if you think of it that way. Even though it does a lot of stuff in the past. He's fighting aliens with swords. I don't know, people, but just hang with me here. I think he's trying to go after essentially a template of the hero's journey. So something along the lines of Beowulf. So you've got stuff throughout human history as far as the hero's journey goes. So in supplement here, bringing it back around to what you see on the screen here. So I had to read supplement. I got through the first story. I was like, the whole Godlike. I was like, where is Marc Poulton at? We need some semblance of sense here. The first book there with Marc Engine, I think is the name of it, was good. I understood the story, but it literally is the same template It's not the same story, it's not the same characters, but it's the same template of the hero's journey. I tried reading the other book in supplement. I'm sorry, Von Klaus, you're a great writer, but I got about halfway through it and just threw up my hands because that book was essentially the same story. I mean, it's different. There's different characters. It was set like 1,000 years from our present time, but before Godlike. But it's literally the same story. There's a part in Godlike where essentially the Clark Kent version, the guy dies, I guess, I think. And then you go 2 blank pages, so 80 pages, really 78 pages. Literally the same thing happens in the supplemental. Um, it's essentially a template I think that he's come up with and trying to put an his like IP stamp on it. So Godlike is the hero's journey, the hero's saga. That's great and all. That's terrific. But if you're trying to do it more than one book, you've essentially written yourself into a hole. It might have, to quote Jiminy here, writing when you smoke too much. I'm sure it came out with a great idea when it came up as a concept, and he's going around talking to different people about it. You know, hey, I'm going to use the hero's journey template as my IP. Okay, that sounds like it could be a good idea, but every single story that you're going to have after it is the same essential story. It's the same essential hero's journey. So you're not really like the engine one. It was in 1800s America, talking about Indians, and they're bringing. Yeah. I really don't want to get into Bear's fourth thought on this, but they bring in the white savior, and he's supposed to help out and everything. So the character in that book, in the engine book, is essentially the same character as in the Godlike book. Obviously separated by 10,000, 20,000 years. I don't know. I'm not sure. But separated by that amount of time. But it's essentially the same. Um, it's the same template. You could probably, I don't know. It's like putting different types of sprinkles onto your vanilla ice cream. It's still vanilla ice cream. You're not going to get away from the vanilla ice cream. You might put sprinkles on there. You might put Oreo cookie little crumbles on there. You might put caramel on there or something like that. But it's still essentially the ice cream cone, a vanilla ice cream cone. So Godlike, yeah, it it probably started out as a good concept, but he didn't really um, he wasn't able to follow through with it in a coherent way. So um, it's hard to make a determination other than, hey, the art looks really great, but I don't know what the story's about. I think that's what the story is about. It's just a template of a hero's journey. So that's why I said the story in Godlike doesn't matter, because it literally doesn't. There's just stuff in there where you're learning about all these different families that are left of the human race. You're like, okay, this is this family and they're there. This is this family and they're there. Then you turn the page and they're all dead. So it's like over and over and over again, you are trying to invest in the story, and then they just pull the rug. And you can only do that so many times before the reader just completely checks out. Um, I will say one to end it off on a good note. I will say one good thing about Jon Malin's writing is he did make it in a certain way a page turner, because you would have something like the build up to the big boss or whatever. The big boss comes out and he stands in front of everybody, and then the boss goes to speak and the boss says, and then you got to flip the page to the next page to see what the boss says. I thought bringing the audience along that way was a good way of writing and keeping the page turned and everything, but literally everything else that had to do with writing was either convoluted, didn't make much sense even if you went back or went to the supplemental to check things out. Um, yeah, it was just a very, very odd, strange read there. So once again, without any hesitation whatsoever, Godlike, Godlike, Inglorious Rex II gets Bear's thumbs up and approval, and the winner, literally no contest. I like the artwork in Godlike, but the artwork and the story in Inglorious Rex pushed it way over the edge and beyond. Shane did an excellent job with his IP and the story that he's trying to tell. The story of Godlike is very nebulous. It's very hard, and I guess you could tell by the way I'm trying to describe the story itself, which didn't really make a whole lot of sense. I went to go back to reread it, and it just I had to put it down, people. I'm sorry. I was just like, no, this isn't gonna work. I enjoy looking at the pretty pictures, but you're literally reading a history essay and a religious essay. And a fantasy novel all mingled together, and it really needed either, if not a page one rewrite, then just cut like half of the dialogue, please. Cut half of it, and you'd be doing okay. I mean, all this dialogue there, just a little too much, people, a little too much. So without hesitation, our winner here today is, of course, Inglorious Rex #2. So congratulations. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. Let's actually look at the... We'll go ahead and end it here before we do. Does it say how many votes? It doesn't. 4 votes. With 4 whole votes, thank you for voting. Inglorious Rex #2 at 25%. Godlike, 25%. No opinion did not read, 50%. So hopefully we're able to change some minds out there. But there you go, people. We are ending the poll. Ending the poll. The poll has ended there. So if you didn't vote, well, that's on you, man. That's on you. So there is our battle royale. I really was I've got people. I mean, I'm looking ahead. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be getting Glorious Rex in. I'm gonna be getting Godlike in. You know, two friendly but professional rivals out there. It'd be fun. Hey, let's put these books head to head. I always like the books head to head where it's really tough to choose. Where it's like, I like things out of this book. I like things out of that book. You know, usually it's like whoever kind of does something kind of unique or takes a chance or has a unique voice, something along those lines. Usually that's what kind of puts the winning book ahead. This one, it was literally no contest. I was literally flabbergasted. I had no clue how this ever got out of the people that proofread this book. Man, oh man, I got Bear has questions. I mean, it's probably spelled correctly. I didn't go word by word because God forbid. Oh, by the way, ending it on a good note for Godlike. The man that deserves all the credit in the world, Eric Weathers. Eric Letters too much. God, I hope he got paid by the letter. He did a great job. I remember reading through, what was it? Graveyard Shift. And the print was real tiny. So this one was a lot better for Bear. I could actually read it this time. He did a great, actually he did both Godlike and Inglorious Rex. So, Eric Letters too much is working on his name there. Well, the name that Bear gave him. Well, actually, it was Von Klaus that gave it to him. Pretty funny. All right, let me see. Lurking. Don't mind me. I'm lurking. Be a terrible lurker while sneaking out yell. Don't mind me. I'm lurking, says Peabody. Let me go back here 1 second. I hope I'm not canceled. Crying out loud. A lurking club. There you go. There you go. We should. That should be what precedes Bear's shows. The lurking club. Just hang out, not say anything, just stare at the screen. Here we go. The first rule of Lurking Club is you don't talk about Lurking Club. I voted with bear hashtag 2 oars. 2 oars indeed. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to, listen, I don't want to see Jon Malin put out a bad book or anything like that, but, and that's not going into some of the, holy cow, this could be actually terrible, like, awful, awful, awful stuff. I have not mentioned any of that. Let me turn down this other one here. I have not mentioned any of that, so we'll see. We'll see if some of the detractors out there, some of the Eric July fans, they may if some of those people picked up the book. We'll see if they pick up on some of those issues out there, which I don't think. Let me just say this: I don't think it was intentional on Jon Malin's part. I think maybe he did it accidentally. Looking back through the ages of heroic journeys and all that other stuff, I think maybe he might have incorporated some stuff accidentally, which is not good. People, we'll just leave it there. But yeah, I will leave it on a high note with Eric letters too much. Eric Weathers. He did great. He did great in both of these books here. So definitely recommend Inglorious Rex. If you like pretty pictures, check out Godlike. If you want your stories to make sense with your pretty pictures, I would love to see his kind of, after the books are shipped, his explanation of what's going on here. Because Bear tried his best, so I hope that came close. It's sort of a hero's journey as an IP. I'm just not sure if that's a great idea, number one, and just didn't really. I mean, if you have to read the supplemental book to kind of figure what the hell's going on in your main book, you're probably not doing that well. So, once again. Well, to think the chat spent more time talking about lurking than Malin's book, that's too bad. Listen, I can't control the chat, people. Well, I can. Actually, I could ban all of you. Bear could, but he's not going to. Not going to, not this time. Not today, people. Not today. One of the things that Bear thought that, the reason why Malin might be kind of joking around, I found out. I found out who. Let me see if I can bring it in here. It might go by quick. Oops. Let's see. Where was it? That's not it. Is it in with this stuff? I forget. I forget if it was in with that stuff or not. I will give Malin credit for including a bear in his book, so thank you. Included a teddy bear in there. I think it's right after this. I think the big battle scene coming up here. If you look down in the far left corner, not this one, battle scene coming up here, you'll see the drawing that Bear got. If you look down very far in the corner there, they're essentially the henchmen of the aliens. I won't go too far into it. It's kind of disturbing and disgusting and just generally horrible. But yeah, that's why you had. If you haven't seen it before, I'll bring it on here. Let me find it here. Thing with the thing. That is this character here, and also that character there as well. So literally got two drawings from Jon Malin, and it's literally the same thing. That's number one why I thought it was kind of a joke. Number two, it's like, oh, okay, I understand why it's a rag over his head, because he didn't want to draw, like, a huge battle scene with all these henchmen in there, having to draw individual faces. So I thought, okay, alright, that's neat. But why not draw the main characters? Probably because there's not really a main character. I don't suppose, but anyways, that's why beer. That's why I thought that maybe this was kind of a little trickaroo on old beer here, but I'm not sure. Not this book is so confusing, people. I've been thinking about it all week. So, Jon Malin, congratulations. You know, a lot of times people think of artwork as everybody just like oohing and ahhing and congratulations and all that other stuff. You know, sometimes artwork is just kind of, ticking people off and, you know, they're discussing it, but they're discussing it in kind of a bad, I hate the book. Blah, blah. Well, at least it drew out an emotion. Beer doesn't hate the book. I read 80 pages and I'm still confused. Still, even after the supplemental. Oy, 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 oy. Oy, 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 oy. Always try to figure out how to mess with the poll. Thank you, Peabody. Thank you, sir. Please do not vote in American elections. Well, to think the chat spent more time talking about lurking than... Oh, yeah, I already read that. I thought it would be an interesting show. Bear bans the entire chat. It'd be like some of the early shows where Bear is just talking amongst himself. Talking amongst his shells out here, people. His shells. So, well, people, I hope you maybe not enjoyed, but at least learned something from our interesting head-to-head. I always enjoy doing the head-to-heads. I wish that there were better outcome to it. Um, the head-to-heads, it gets it into kind of a little bit of a rivalry mode, and that's sort of fun. Some people have their favorite artists, other people have their favorite artists. So if you're putting them up head-to-head, a lot of times the chat will be in for one, but not the other, and kind of back and forth. This is why it's fun, and I don't like to come in with one book that completely outmatches the other book. Um, Jon Malin may be the better, slightly, although maybe, I don't know, better artist, but definitely got to go with Shane Davis out here. Shane Davis. Do a head-to-head between Wraith of God and Ghost of the Badlands. I've already done a review of Wraith of God 1. I've had the Wraith of God 2 review just sitting on Bear's hard drive. All the elements of it sitting on Bear's hard drive for like the past year. Um, um, wait, no, I haven't read number 2. I haven't read number 2. I've had the entire thing for number 1 on the hard drive. So no, that was Bear's best book of 20. When did that come out? 22? 22 or 23? It was the best book, I thought. At least the first one. I haven't read the second one. Haven't read the second one. I haven't brought it up since the beginning, but Monday Oilers Florida Game 7. So there you go. I'm glad that the Oilers came back, even if they don't win. They put in a better effort than Bears Tampa Bay Lightning did. God dang it, man! Crying out loud. We got McDonough back. That's good. I just hope we get Stamkos back. Oy, 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 oy. Man. There you go. There you go, P-Money. You're just bringing Bear down when he should be just coming back up here, people. But, anyways, there is Bear's crazy review. I had not seen any other reviews for Godlike out there, so it's going to be interesting to see if what some of the other reviewers say. If you hear some of the reviewers just coming out and praising the high hex out of it, either it clicked with them and they got it, or there's a little bit of smoke being blown up you know where. So we'll see. Jon Malin, if you ever need a hand with the writing or proofreading or anything like that, or just telling you, hey man, this needs a complete rewrite, page 1 rewrite. Bear is your bear out here. Bear is your bear. But, we're probably going to go ahead wrap it on up here for you good people. But I want to thank everybody that showed up here, including Jiminy Crickets, our official Blackman, Lindy Dury, let's see, who else? P-Money, 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 and Mrs. P-Money out there. And of course, Bear would be remiss if he didn't thank all of our Russian bots and our lurkers, especially our lurkers out here. Well, thank you, Lindy. I do appreciate that. But you know what, people? All of this talk, hashtag official Blackman. It's true. Bear has a question. Bear's gonna go to Jimmy here. There you go. Thank you for saying my name 3 times, says P-Money. Yes, indeed. And you know what? Saying his name 3 times has made Bear hungry. So he's gonna head back. You know where, people? Into the woods. So until next time, grrr, a grrr. Good night, everybody.